Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of Connect to Content with me, Anju Jairam. And I have with me today Komal Baldua. She's the founder of Blue. Blue is India's only vegan condom brand. And I have her with me to talk about the role of content in promoting sexual wellness products. Welcome, Komal. How are you doing?
Thank you, Anju. Thanks a lot for having me on board over here to talk to wonderful women out there and men if they are listening as well.
So tell us a little bit about your company and your product.
Blue is a company that's born out of my personal suffering. I used to suffer with these after effects in regards to the harsh chemicals which has been added into the condoms. And that's how we have come with this vegan condom brand where we have removed certain chemicals and we are trying to be a little more gentler, minimize and reduce to the extent of the chemicals that should be allowed.
You're available on Amazon and Flipkart, etc. Right?
Yes, we are available on the marketplaces like Amazon, Flipkart, 1mg, Qtrove, MedMed, and that's on the top of my mind that right now.
And just now, Komal was telling me that she was one of the early participants of the Hyderabad chapter of Breaking Barriers, and that's amazing to hear. And I'm really happy to see how her idea at that time and her brand has grown. So let's get to the questions, Komal. Like, what are the different types of content that you create for Blue Condoms? Primarily because it is a hush-hush topic. What is the content that works well and how do you create it?
Anju, we try to create the content which is more about the bursting the taboos and the topics which are more relevant towards the society.
Okay.
So we are trying to create an awareness rather than just about the brand or selling the product. I would say the mission is about creating the awareness, the right kind of the researched and the appropriate content which can burst these taboos which we've been carrying this burden for a very long time in our society. And that's the only way I would say we are approaching towards creating the content.
Okay.
And we do wish to continue with that. We do not want to write for the Googles or any of these AIs of the world. It's more about creating the knowledge for our consumers who have no proper information channel to talk about it or to discuss about these topics.
Like you mentioned, Google and the other algorithms do censor a lot of this content, like words like vagina or anything around sex gets censored. I mean,
yeah.
The reason why they did it is something else, but what is happening is something else. So how do you work around censorship and how do you navigate that?
So that's exactly. So since we are more into creating these organic content, for the organic part, it is not that difficult.
Okay.
It's once you get onto these paid media and once you start doing the advertising, at that point, they really censor you and they reject the ads and all. But if you're talking about into the organic fashion, it is not much. That is something that they have issues about it. And lots of our content are being, more than the liked, they are being shared across. So if you see any of our content that we create over the platform, more than the like, it's always the sharing part that we find it much higher. So I would say the consumers and the users are by themselves promoting it and creating the awareness more than the us.
So are you present on social media and which channels do
you? We are there on the Instagram. We are there so we're present on all the social media channels. But yeah, we're focusing more onto the Instagram because the community is much more vibrant and we can talk more openly about these issues in compared to the other community.
Are you looking at the newer channels like Clubhouse and Snapchat?
Yes. We are planning to get onto these newer channels as well and start creating some valuable content over there.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your Instagram content, for example?
So in the Instagram content, as I mentioned to you earlier also, like being into a condom brand, we still invite our own customers to come up and talk about certain issues which the society is facing. So we have these Blue Talks, which we have it on the Fridays of the month, not once in a month. And over here, it's all about talking about certain topics which is kind of not really been discussed out openly. And we try to find the view which our customers have about it. So, like, our first topic was about buying a condom for a 22-year-old, how difficult it is in our country, especially if she's a woman. So, I remember she mentioned about like the chemist person gave her a very dirty look just because she was buying a condom.
Mm-hmm.
So, how can we just talk about, and how can we just have ways about sorting these issues? Why it should be such a big taboo to purchase a condom for a 22-year-old?
Right.
Legally, we do have a legal age of getting married at the age of 18 for a girl.
Right.
One of the topics that we discussed in the month of May, was about consensual sex. So, as we all know, India is one of those 36 countries where marital rape is still not legalized.
Mm-hmm.
There is no law about the marital rape, and we should start talking about it. So, it's more about talking about these topics that Blue does, rather than just a product that is selling.
I mean, you mentioned this is the type of content that helps your brand. So how do you, like from a marketing point of view, plug in your product, or you think that is organically done? So when you're having Blue Talks, how do you plug in the product, or how do you talk about the product?
We really do not talk about the product over the Blue Talks or anything.
Okay.
For our products, it's more of, I would say, a word of mouth. Our consumers are talking more. We have more of the direct customers who are logging onto our website and placing the orders because they have been referred by one of the other friends or the users or anyone. And that's how we are having more users coming up.
And your audience is primarily men or women?
I would say both.
So like I understand the condoms are male condoms, but your audience you're saying is both. So how do you ensure that your content reaches the right audience? Right audience in the sense that are going to buy your product or are interested, really interested.
So the men are who are pretty modern and the sensitive men. So we have, of course, grown out of that notion of being a macho man and the man cannot do it. The men buyers who are there are sensitive. They are concerned about their partner's health and themselves, and they do also want to contribute a little bit to the environment. So for example, our packaging, if you would see, we do not have single-use plastic, one-time single-use plastic. And a lot of the men, they do find it very much appreciated.
Okay.
That we are bothered about small things. In the environment, we are more of a sustainable brand, and we do have a lot of women entrepreneurs in our packaging unit. So we have taken care of these smaller things into the consideration. And the sensitive modern man, I think in India, which is moving towards, is more open about these issues when it comes that you're also giving to the society, the environment, along with your own health and your partner's health.
Yeah, that has been really good talking to you, Komal, and really insightful. And the product is quite unique. You should check it out. Yeah, and more power to you, Komal. And I hope that the content that you develop reaches a larger audience and it reaches the right audience and in a better way. Thank you so much, Komal, for coming.
Thank you, Anjay. It has been a pleasure. It's lovely talking to you and all the listeners. Thanks a lot.